Oh, you're there. Oh, sorry, I had to check my Facebook while you guys were watching me. Just thought that was a regular thing to do nowadays. Nick Daniels here yet again with another video here. This is going to be a topic video as we're sitting in the parking lot awkwardly. Going to be a little bit of spoilers for this one. They're normally something I don't do, but I just been watching a little bit of this more lately, and I thought we would talk about it. So we're going to talk about Game of Thrones, and specifically Jaime Lannister, aka the Kingslayer. So if you do watch Game of Thrones, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't watch Game of Thrones, you should watch Game of Thrones, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. But we're gonna spoil everything from the first episode right till the end of what they've aired so far, which I think is season 7. So if you haven't seen that, you've been warned. We're coming into it. Here we go. So I want to talk about why I think Jaime Lannister at this point in the series, in all honesty, is my absolute favorite character, and he was like one of my least favorite characters in the beginning. So and which also plays into his character development massively, which I also think he's one of the most developed ones, but we'll get into that just in a second. So in the first episode, he does come off as basically just a dick. Like the whole first season, he's an asshole. Like he pushes Bran out a window because Bran catches him and Cersei, you know, having sex, brother and sister. So that's a good start. He kills a bunch of Ned Stark's men in the capital and wounds Ned Stark, almost killing him in the middle of the streets, which was another fabulous idea. Eventually, and I know he gets himself caught by the young wolf, which is Robb, and he just disrespects most of them anyway. Like, this guy is just an asshole. Anything he says is just asshole. Like, he's just entitled, he's been pampered, but the thing about him that you still gotta like is that he's a damn good swordsman too. Like he is good, so there's no question there. Like it's not like he's trash. Like no, he's literally praised around the Seven Kingdoms about being one of the better swordsmen, if not the best, in his time. Now, like I said, in the first season he was so much of an asshole, but I think what really started changing him was when he got captured and he was stuck with Brienne of Tarth for a while. And you do see that he's trying to like trick his way out of things, almost like Tyrion would, which doesn't work out. He ends up losing his hand. I think it was his right hand. And there's a point where they're gonna like rape Brienne because she's like the only chick in this whole thing, like the whole camp they've got. And he ends up sparing her, luckily, from that, which was nice. And they develop a bit of a relationship getting out of there, like a friendship kind of thing, which actually further develops into the series. But what I really like about Jaime, and I think this is the biggest point about his character development, and this is why I really like him, is that in the beginning he decided to betray the Mad King, so he swore an oath to obviously protect the king as a Kingsguard, you know, guy, and he ended up stabbing that king in the back because he was going to burn down all of King's Landing, which is like the main city right in this story. You know, King's Landing and then the Red Keep. He was going to blow it all up with wildfire. Like that was all underneath the city apparently. So that really would not have gone well. That would have been really shitty. And so Jaime killed him. He didn't want that to happen. Now, if you fast forward really friggin' far, back up to like basically the end of last season when Cersei blows up. I don't know the name of it, but it's where like the Tyrells were, it's where the Faith were, it's where Loras was, it was like Marjorie, all her enemies were in one building, and she just blew it up with the wildfire. Like Loras, you name them, they're all there. So when she did that, and Tommen had jumped out the window, Cersei really becomes like this dark character at this point. Like she's got her whole outfit is pure black. She's supposed to be like the queen now, like the queen of the Seven Kingdoms. And the whole throne room kind of resembles that too. Like Cersei has gone through a lot, but now, at the point she's at now, I think she's just kind of a monster. And she didn't even care that Tommen died, in my opinion. She really didn't give a fuck that her own son had died. Like she knew this was going to happen. Okay, you know, I'm good with that. And when Jaime comes back, of course, he's the opposite. He's the father. Like he really, I mean, the mother and father, of course, here, right? Like, you know, she is the mother of, but I'm just saying, he seemed to care way more. And he was dazzled by the fact that she ain't doing anything about it, which is the crazy thing. Like, Cersei doesn't care. And I think he starts to see that again, that there's another king or queen that is just lost their minds. Like, they're just doing these such inhumane acts that he can't willingly do this, right? And so he starts to kind of question Cersei a bit at times, which I really love. I really love the debates back and forth between these two great actors. But Jaime does so many things. He's like the head of the army at this point. Like, he does a lot of things for the Lannisters at this point that I think should be, you know, that are very memorable. And, you know, he's basically just thrown aside. Like, he's just a pawn. And at the very end here, he ends up conspiring with Tyrion, technically. But anyway, gets Tyrion an audience with Cersei, and, you know, and she doesn't like that because, you know, he wasn't told. So she does the same to him. She, you know, she plots against the North and Daenerys Targaryen, which they were all supposed to just made of a truce like 2 minutes ago. And she said, like, well, you know, hey, we'll truce it up. Well, she was lying, and she's not standing down, right? And he's like, well, we've just pledged to go help them. And it's like, they had proof, like, we're going to get killed. And I love this line of the last season. This is one of the best lines that this guy's going to have. I'll tell you right now, right? And he makes the most common sense of anybody. He says, if the dead win and they march south, they kill us all, okay? If the living win, they march south and kill us all. Right, and he's like yelling that last line to kill us all there at the end, and it's such a good point. Like, he's so accurate there. Like, they are fucked, and he's still realizing, especially from this conversation, that Cersei doesn't care. Right, she will do absolutely anything just to survive, and that means like betraying anybody. Like, she's like, and Jaime's right. Like, we basically have no allies, and you're thinking we're just gonna lock our doors and hide out. It's like, it's not gonna happen. And he ends up almost getting executed, but he leaves because he doesn't believe she'll even give the command, which she doesn't. And he leaves at the end of it. So leaves King's Landing. So we're open to interpretation because we don't obviously know how the next season's going to go. That's why I really like him. All of what I've just said, like, it really builds this character. Again, a couple seasons ago, he's laying in this bath with Brienne, and he confesses about the Mad King, but nobody believes him. They just say he's a Kingslayer. He betrayed him because they were going to lose. But he's like, no, like, he was going to blow up the city, so I got rid of him. Like, I just saved like 1 million people in King's Landing. But no one will ever believe that, right? Because Ned Stark, again, our main guy from the first season, witnessed this firsthand. Like, he just came in and he was dead right there. And he's like, Ned's such an honorable guy that he just said he betrayed him, and that was it. They never even bothered to listen to what he had to say. And it really just shows that he's worn that his whole life, and he definitely didn't need to, right? But it's just that, again, like, he definitely did the right thing, and he did it a second time when he decided not to follow Cersei, because Cersei's gonna get what's coming to her, and that's gonna be great. So I don't know, folks, that's just kind of like a little thoughts video there. I'm getting pretty fucking hot sitting here, so I'm gonna, yeah, I'm starting to sweat. I'm gonna pack it in. Overall, in closing, sorry, I just had to be awkward because there was a car there. In closing, I want to thank you so much for watching. If you watch Game of Thrones, let me know what you thought of the video. If you don't, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and maybe you'll go see it. I would definitely recommend it. It's either that show or Attack on Titan is my favorite show. So, and we'll talk about Attack on Titan later. So again, thank you so much for watching, everybody. We're gonna see you in the next video, and as always, cheers.